Nobody teaches you how to spend money in retirement. If anything, they teach you how to save it. For decades we hear the same messages. Work hard, be responsible, prepare for the future, don't waste money, keep building the nest egg. And for many of us, that's exactly what we do. We spend 30, 40, sometimes 50 years effectively becoming good savers and/or accumulators. But when retirement arrives, well, then suddenly life asks us to do the opposite. To spend, enjoy, to loosen our grip, to finally use the money we've spent our whole lives protecting. And for many people, that turns out to be emotionally far harder than expected. Because even when the spreadsheets say, you're okay, something still deeper whispers. What if I need it later? What if something goes wrong? What if I spend too much? So instead of enjoying retirement, many people stay strapped in accumulation mode, still postponing life, still waiting for mission, still afraid to touch the money they already sacrificed decades to save. And that's what I want to talk about today, because I honestly believe one of the most important and least discussed skills in retirement is learning how to safely enjoy what you spent your whole entire life building. Now, I just want to point out, guys, that this is not financial advice, so it shouldn't be construed that way. It's just me sharing experience that both myself and many other fellow retirees find themselves in. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get stuck in. I think one of the reasons this is so difficult is because saving money isn't just a financial habit. It becomes part of your identity, and it's just the norm. You know, the old adage, being careful, being responsible, being someone who prepares for the future. And for decades, that behaviour gets rewarded. You feel proud or satisfied when you don't spend, secure when you delay gratification, sensible when you choose to exercise caution. And honestly, those habits probably help many of us build stable lives. The issue is though, retirement changes the objective. During your working life, accumulation makes sense because you're building security for the future. But eventually there comes a point where continuing to only accumulate can quietly stop you from fully living. And psychologically, that transition is incredibly difficult. Because the brain doesn't suddenly switch modes the day you retire, from my experience at least. I still definitely try to be as frugal as I can whenever I can. You can retire from work, but more often than not, your nervous system is still stuck in survival mode. What fascinates me is how emotional spending becomes in retirement. Even small things, for example, taking the trip, looking for a better hotel, maybe upgrading yourself to business class, replacing or upgrading something old, going out for lunch or dinner more than you think you should. Logically, you know you can afford it, but emotionally, well, that can almost feel irresponsible. And from those that I talk to and the information I consume within this space, many retirees experience this private guilt. I think because for most of our lives, spending was associated with danger or being irresponsible, as I just mentioned. Saving, on the other hand, meant safety, while spending meant risk. So even after becoming financially secure, the emotional program often stays exactly the same, which creates this strange contradiction. You finally have the time, you finally have the money, but despite all of that, you still struggle to give yourself permission to enjoy either of them. And this is where I think retirement becomes deeply philosophical. Because yes, running out of money is a legitimate fear. Absolutely it is. But there's another risk people talk about far less, and that's running out of life while still wanting to live. I think many retirees unknowingly keep moving the goalposts. They say or think to themselves, maybe next year, maybe when things feel safer, maybe after the markets improve, maybe after one more year of caution. But retirement has one resource that behaves very differently from money, and that's time. Money can sometimes be replenished, but time, your healthy years, definitely cannot. And eventually, many people arrive at a painful realisation. They protected the money so carefully that they forgot the reason they saved it in the first place. And honestly, and on the back of what I just said, I definitely see some of this in myself too. There are moments where I'll hesitate over spending money on something meaningful, even when I know it's completely reasonable. I catch myself thinking, why does this feel uncomfortable? Because intellectually, the maths might make sense. And I'll give you an example. I was recently away on a trip and the opportunity presented itself to take a helicopter ride to view some spectacular scenery. So naturally, my first reaction or hesitation was, how much will it cost? Rather than focusing on the thrill and excitement of what it was going to be. I'd never been in a helicopter before, so thankfully I quickly shifted into why the hell not mode, as we only live once. And that's an example of where the decades of conditioning don't disappear overnight. Oh, and if you're wondering, it costs around 450 Aussie dollars. So I guess you could say it was a bit of a bucket thing ticked off and not a great amount in the grand scheme of things. But many of us were trained to feel virtuous when denying ourselves, which means enjoyment can strangely trigger guilt, especially in retirement. And I think simply realising that is incredibly important, because it helps us realise that this isn't about being reckless, it's about learning a completely new and psychological skill. And that's not allowing yourself to live the life you worked so hard to create. And maybe that skill, as I just touched on with the helicopter example, is learning how to convert savings into life. Not recklessly, not irresponsibly, but just intentionally. Gradually learning to see money not just as something to protect, but as a tool that creates experiences, connections, freedom, memories, peace, and presence. Because at some point, the purpose of retirement planning has to become retirement living. Otherwise, we risk spending the healthiest years of our retirement protecting a future that never actually arrives. I think this requires a very different way of looking at money. Instead of asking, how do I die with the biggest number possible, maybe the better question becomes, how do I use this money to create the best life I reasonably can, while I still have the health and time to enjoy it? Because the goal was never just accumulation. The goal was freedom. Freedom to slow down, freedom to breathe, freedom to experience life more deeply, freedom to stop postponing yourself. And if we never allow ourselves to actually use what we build, then retirement can just quietly become another phase of fear. Maybe the real challenge of retirement isn't learning how to save. Maybe it's learning how to stop surviving, learning how to trust yourself a little bit more, learning a little bit more in general, live a little bit more, because none of us know how much time we have left. And don't get me wrong, I definitely don't think the goal is to spend recklessly or ignore financial reality. But I also don't think the goal is to arrive at the end of life with untouched dreams, untouched experiences, and untouched joy. The money mattered because your life mattered. And perhaps one of the hardest and the most important lessons in retirement is giving yourself permission to use what you spent your whole life building. So I hope this has provided some perspective on this, guys. And look, whilst this channel isn't money-centric, the reality is, though, money does play a big role in around how retirement is shaped. So with all of that said, what are your thoughts on this? Are you like most of us and still struggling with the concept of spending and that's being the new norm, or have you embraced it? Leave a comment, because I really genuinely love to hear what your thoughts and experience are on this one. And look, as always, guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you're up to date with all the latest here on the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.